Can you talk a bit about the filibuster? How does it work? What is cloture? How does that work?
Filibuster in the United States Senate is a very important tool for ensuring a minority voice on matters. And historically, those who have been in the minority have been forced to resort to the filibuster to ensure that there's full debate, or so that some obnoxious law is not passed without full discussion and debate. The filibuster means that any member of the Senate can claim the floor and can continue to talk, to hold the floor until cloture is invoked. And that rule of cloture is meant to cut off the endless discussions and debates by those holding the floor and conducting a filibuster.
Is it not a fact that present-day senators do not actually have to speak without interruption?
That's right. In the old days, they did have to actually speak, and many Americans would know that practice through the famous movie starring Jimmy Stewart when he was a senator.
Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
That's exactly right. And I think it was a great civics lesson for Americans to watch that. And of course, we all watched that film and just wished that we had so many other senators with the integrity of Jimmy Stewart.
Is it fair to summarize the arguments for and against filibustering by saying that it allows the minority to have a voice, and that's a good thing, and the bad thing is that it leads to what we these days call gridlock?
That's exactly right. It leads to more obstruction, to the dreaded gridlock and deadlock that seems so often to characterize the work of the United States Senate.
Talk about the Hastert rule, if you will. How does it work, and what are the arguments for and against it?
The Hastert rule is named after former Speaker of the House, Denny Hastert of Illinois, who introduced the idea that the Speaker would not permit any legislation to go forward unless the majority party supported it. That had the consequence of freezing out the minority on most issues, and the principal virtue from the standpoint of Denny Hastert was that it would further increase the power of the majority, maintain and to protect the majority party. That's really the rule. Opponents, of course, would be very quick to say, well, what happens to discussion and debate with the Hastert rule? The real downside of the Hastert rule could be seen in the last days of John Boehner's speakership, where he saw so many opponents within his own party, the Republican Party, opposing his leadership, that he couldn't govern the House. And many argued that the way clear for him was to abandon the Hastert rule and thus push legislation through that enjoyed the support not only of a majority of Republicans, but many Democrats. But the consequence of abandoning the Hastert rule would be weakening the Republican Party.
You mentioned earlier regular order. Can you talk about the importance of regular order in the House and the Senate, and what are current practices in regard to regular order?
Yeah, regular order really means that the House is going to conduct its business in accordance with the normal rules of expectation. So that means that the committees will get their work done on time. It means that, in fact, members will have the opportunity to participate in what we call markup and offer amendments to proposed legislation. It means, furthermore, that no money is going to be spent unless it's, in fact, authorized by the House. So a call for a return to regular order is exactly what many people think has been lacking in Congress for so many years. The new Speaker, Paul Ryan, has vowed to return to the practice of regular order, and certainly that is music to the ears of most in Congress.